Hello, everybody. Welcome to Flower Power Live, where each week I share the herbal energetics and the plant and the medicine and the history of one particular plant that shows up wanting to be heard from. So, this week we're going to be learning a little bit from marshmallow. And marshmallow is a beautiful plant. I grow it myself. And if you've ever been onto my webpage or my Facebook page or any of my social media, you'll see this that marshmallow is the plant that I have chosen as the symbol of sort of the energy and the help and the perspective that I want to give to the world. So I was very excited when I drew Marshmallow from the card deck this week for the week of January 18th. And the recent events in the US and all of the things happening have just been so difficult for a lot of people. And so I kind of asked for, like, what is some guidance for being able to be more tolerant towards others? And I felt this was a really good request because today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and tolerance and bringing people together is something that was just so, what he inspired so many people to do that. So um, let's get started talking a little bit about the plant. But before we do that, I just want to say, if you have any thoughts or comments on the show and you want to put them down in the comments below, that's always super helpful, so I know what to add and what you're looking for from the show. My name's Allison, and I'm an herbalist, educator, and ecologist, and I love doing flower power because I love plants. And truthfully, I am learning so much more about the plants and connecting better just by doing this show. So thank you for joining me here tonight. So the plant, marshmallow, its official botanical name is Althea officinalis, and it belongs to the Malvaceae family. And this is a family, the mallow family it's called, and it includes some popular plants such as okra and cotton, cacao, where we all get chocolate from, and hibiscus, and it has about 4,000 different species. So marshmallow, a mallow that likes to grow in marshes, is native to Europe and to Northern Africa. And it was brought over here just like dandelion that we talked about a few weeks ago, brought over here as settlers came to North America. Since then, it has naturalized, and you'll find it in different areas of Canada and the United States. It is hardy to zones about 3 through 9. And the marshmallow itself is it's a tall, slender plant. I got some pictures here for you so you can kind of get an idea. This is a picture of it growing in a garden. It's super tall. It says 6 feet in a lot of the documentation, but I've never had mine get quite that tall. And it has this beautiful pale pink flower with a dark center. It has 5 petals around it, and it's just this gentle, beautiful plant. And it's lovely to have in your garden. The leaves themselves are super soft, and the seeds are easy to save. You can just kind of throw them out in the garden around your plants. So it is a perennial, and it can be divided by the rootstock. One tip for growing your own marshmallows is that the seeds need to be stratified by cold. So they need to get frozen or cooled before they will easily sprout. So if you want to grow this in an area where perhaps it doesn't get that cold in the winter, or if you're buying seeds from a source and you don't know how they've been stored, you'll want to basically put them in the refrigerator for about 6 weeks before you try to start them, and that will help them to sprout much better. So the marshmallow plant, all parts of the plant are edible: the flowers, leaves, and the root. The root is the most particularly important part of the plant. And by now you're probably wondering, like, what does this plant have to do with marshmallows? You know, the nice gooey sticky treat that we like to roast over a campfire. Well, the original dessert was made from the root, the dried powdered root of the marshmallow plant. And has been traced back to ancient Egypt. Is the first place where it's been seen in history. And then you don't hear much from it for a while. It goes back to sort of medicinal status after that and appears again in 19th century France, where you see some other confections similar to like a meringue that were being made and sold. And the idea was, we'll take the medicinal properties, we'll combine it with something yummy and sell it to people. And then after that, with, you know, the implementation of food science and all the other modern food making marvels, marshmallows became what they are today. Personally, I don't like marshmallows. I don't know about you, but it's pretty far removed from the original plant and the original benefit that we would get from that plant. So let's get to the good stuff, the real marshmallow. All right. So the marshmallow plant is super mucilaginous. So what that means is that it creates a sort of thickened liquid when it's put into water, and similar to if you've ever soaked any kind of seeds like flax seeds or chia seeds and how they get that kind of gel-like consistency to them after they are moistened. So that kind of thick gel is what gives marshmallow most of its healing properties. Now, marshmallow is used for any type of inflammatory conditions. So it's cooling, it's moistening. It can be used for like a dry cough or kind of stuck mucus in the respiratory system. It can be used in the digestive system for, say, constipation or just any type of inflammation, and also including, it helps you to produce more digestive enzymes. So just kind of keep the digestion flowing. It soothes and moistens the whole digestive tract. And it does have a affinity with the kidneys as well. It has diuretic properties, which is, in this case, it helps to really kind of like balance the kidney function. So I was curious about that, and I wanted to look into the kidney function a little bit more. And I came across this information about kidney yin. Now, I am not that familiar with, this is from traditional Chinese medicine. I'm really not that familiar with these different sort of tissue states that are used a lot in Chinese medicine. And so I found a nice blog article by this woman, Anasuya Basil. And she says this about kidney yin and what this means, like what are the symptoms in your body. So symptoms include dry skin, eyes, vaginal dryness for women. If you have like dark and urine that's not very prolific, if you have a pale face with flushed cheeks, a red peeled tongue. This is something that Matthew Wood, one of my favorite herbalists, also says as an indication. If you're tired and irritable and you have a lot of night sweats and hot flashes. If any of you are my age, you're probably thinking, that sounds a lot like menopause. So it is indicative of menopause. It also has the emotional or mental signs of agitation, panic attacks, feeling tired but wired, or being just totally drained. So what this says is that often the person that needs marshmallow is a person that is really kind of like irritated and hot all the time, but it's not because they have excess heat, it's because they have a lack of coolness. So what marshmallow does is it brings in more of these cooling and softening kinds of properties into the body and just helps to balance the whole kidney condition. So as I was saying earlier, marshmallow creates this thickened liquid, and the best way to use marshmallow, to take marshmallow, is to just do this like cold infusion. So you take the root, which you can see here in the bottom, and you just put it in some water and you let it kind of soak overnight. And you can see the water's kind of cloudy here, and it's kind of thick. So then you would just simply sip it. You can add it to other types of teas. You could put it into a smoothie, anything like that. But because of these thickening properties of marshmallow, it's better to make this cold than to use boiling water with it. It just helps to maintain a lot more of those softening properties. So I was inspired, and I've been keeping this jar in my refrigerator, just adding more water to it. I drink some, add more water. I'll probably only keep it for about a week, and then I'll get some fresh marshmallow root. It's easy to get from any type of herb store if you're not growing your own. So as you can imagine, the flower essence is going to work on some of these same properties as well. So one of my favorites, and he's actually local, is David Dalton, and he has a gardens and flower essence company called Delta Gardens here in New Hampshire. And this is what he says about marshmallow flower essence. Marshmallow flower essence helps a person relearn the strength and value of softness. I love that. Marshmallow helps soften the entire emotional system so that emotions are accessed, expressed, released, and forgotten in a shorter period of time. And he relates this to the way that a child might experience your emotions. Just they get upset and it's resolved, and then they're off playing again. So he encourages you to, or this encourages you to create a more childlike approach to your emotional life. So it's really for people who become very inflexible and hardened to the world. They are unable to let go of grudges or resentments. And another nice way to put it from Whispering Woods Essences says that this essence helps to calm the emotional body by softening anger, agitation, and frustration. And we could all use some softening of those types of emotions, couldn't we? So, because often when we get worked up or triggered by something, and this happens a lot, we're constantly letting ourselves get triggered, then our body is starting to get used to being in that state, and becomes very hard to let go of this kind of elevated state of stress or agitation, and we react quickly, and we keep ourselves in that state. So what marshmallow flower essence does is it helps to kind of like take the edge off and allow you to step back a little bit from those feelings and just let them go a little bit easier. So the flower essence card, my fancy thing here, yes, someday I will upgrade to a real thing, is this is from the Herbcrafter's tarot deck, and it's the Two of Water. And the water, well, the image on here shows the stalks of mallow, they call it mallow, but it's marshmallow, growing in the garden, and there's a stone fountain that has a statue of Aphrodite. Hummingbirds drink from the water and also drink nectar from the flowers. And the twos in this deck are about balance and reciprocity. So mallows are really important plant pollinators. All of the plants that they chose in the number twos are plant pollinators. And then the pollinators, the insects, are really important for the plants. So this is basically a symbol of how mutually beneficial relationships are really, really important. And the best way to create a mutually beneficial relationship is by approaching your life, your people, your relationships with a softer touch. So this reminds us that vulnerability and sovereignty create relationships that are self-renewing. So allow yourself to be drawn in by what you love. When we approach life this way with a more gentle touch, we are more likely to attract the type of relationships and the type of people that we want into our lives. So I love that message. It says in the book, let love in, soften dry and brittle wounds. So just let these things soften. Don't hold on to those tough, stubborn kinds of wounds that you have, and then just welcome in a genuine connection with people. This does not mean, oh, just let yourself, you just be soft and let people walk all over you. No, that is not what it means. It means when you allow yourself to be compassionate towards others, then you will receive the same back. So the insight that I got from this was, I mean, if there's anything that we need to be doing right now, it's softening. And I know that everybody has like very, very strong opinions on either side of the political stuff that's happening right now. But what I really think of is, like, why are so many people unable to let go of their side and their position, and why are they suffering so much that they have to like lash out and they have to with violence towards others? And it's just really boggling to me that we've gotten to this state in our society. I mean, I don't want to blame it on anything, but let's face it, the last 20 years, we have become so connected. We are constantly judging ourselves against everyone else we see out in the world, because we see everyone out in the world now. We are sort of criticized if we choose a lifestyle or a day where we want to just like soften and relax and renew. We're not considered successful. You know, we got to get out there and, claw your way to the top and take massive action. And frankly, like, that's not really getting us to where we want to go. So our message from Marshmallow today is that we need to just let go of some of that tension, relax, soften our edges a little bit, and that will allow us to come together better and choose compassion over judgment. And just, if we do this for no other reason, maybe it's not for other people, but do it for yourself. Allow yourself to soften, live life with a more open heart. So that's our message tonight from Marshmallow. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're interested in joining a community of people that want to get a little bit deeper with learning about herbs and sharing insights together, you can join my Flower Power group on Facebook, and I will put the link down below. And until then, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.